Hi everyone, and welcome to Incoming Global Talent Customer Flow, or the Customer Flow of IGT. Running through some of the objectives of this session here, and what we'll be going through is these 3 points. What is the customer flow to begin with? What is the IGT customer flow? And also the third one is the IGT portion of the customer flow and what your role will be in it. First one is, what is a customer flow? A customer flow is a process which takes into account the entire customer experience from the first time they hear about us, until after they have actually completed their service with us. So, and why is a customer flow actually needed? It helps break down what can and should be done at each stage that a customer may go through. It helps us to empathize and understand what we can improve in the service we're delivering to get happy customers. So a customer flow literally just lines out from the very first moment they see or hear about the brand or the organization, whether it be on a poster or the first time they hear it from somebody else, from that process all the way until whether they buy or have interaction with our service, into the very end where they complete their service and are actually talking about us afterwards. So this is an entire flow and structure broken down to what our customer would actually go through and experience. And it really helps us understand at what point in time of each of the flow the customer will be going through and what we should be actually doing to be able to help them have the best customer service experience as possible. So a very general customer flow, there are a lot of different customer flows out there. If you do have a Google, there's a couple here and there, but this is the one that we kind of usually generally use with. So the first one is the flow that they go through, even if you envision yourself as a customer: the attraction, consideration, value delivery, and brand advocacy. So what I'll go through now is each stage of the customer flow itself to explain a little bit more. And what I'll be doing is using an example to actually go through a customer flow. So I'll use a plane trip as a customer flow example, because that's also a service. There's also customer flows for different products like phones or whatnot. But as I said, what we do for IGT is a service, a B2B service, so that I would use a plane trip to illustrate it. So the brand, or the airline company at least, I will be using in particular to this is Qantas. So the very first stage of what a customer will go through is attraction. So just envision or imagine yourself as the customer, or you're planning to go overseas trip or whatnot, or use a plane, and you go and actually, this part is where you are in the attraction phase. At this phase, what the customer is, their profile is on the left. Their profile is a stranger or visitor. What this happens is that if you see an advertisement on the billboards or advertisement on online, or whether it be in a magazine, at this point you're still a stranger, and it's an attraction phase of like you understanding and hearing about the brand and what it actually really does. You're also a visitor, because you may actually go and visit their website, have a browse around, but you're not actually anything like a customer as of yet. This is still the attraction phase. If you compare it to, for example, a physical product, for example, a shoe store, you'll be a visitor when you actually go visit the store or have a look at the store online, but you're still just a visitor and a stranger. At this point, what the company can be doing, or the organization should be looking at, how can we actually attract these customers, give them a good experience in terms of attraction, what they'll think about the organization, vary from the get-go of a digital online marketing or poster or an advertisement, or what they hear about the company in general. So this is the attraction phase, and this is what our customers are: stranger and a visitor. In terms of consideration, this is past the point now they are no longer in the attraction phase, but they're in the consideration phase. So this means that they become a lead. So what a lead means is that someone that is actually interested in the product itself or the service. They are, however, not a customer as of yet, but they are looking and they are quite interested. So you can see here, if you were a lead, you would be the person that's actually going around, perhaps booking the flight, not so much booking, you'd be searching for the flight, checking how much it actually is, and then perhaps going comparing it with other different services and companies. At this point, you're actually quite interested already, therefore in the consideration stage itself, and considering where this is a service or something that you actually want to be able to buy or look into. And again, for example, if it's a physical shoe store as an example, you're looking at the shoes, asking for the price, trying it on, you are at a consideration stage now. The third stage is value delivery. This is where you're actually a customer. So as a customer, you have actually bought the ticket or bought the service already, and then you are going through the entire value delivery stage. Value delivery starts from the very beginning of when the customer does purchase the service or whatnot, and they get to the reception, for example, and actually going through the experience itself, going from destination A to destination B, and also the service they get provided on their trip in general as well. At this point, we are delivering them the value that they actually wanted and the value that they are receiving as a customer. Brand advocacy is the final stage in this 4 customer stage model. And so the last stage is they are now a promoter. And what you would really want, that actually not all customers become a promoter, but what you aim for them to become in this last stage is a brand advocacy and promoter. What you'll see here are some screenshots on Facebook and some customers being a promoter or perhaps promoting, but not so much on a positive side. The very top photo is a lot of customers were very satisfied with Qantas and talking about it, sharing it, their comments, really liking it, really like advocating it. The second one you can see is a negative promotion, is that someone had a very poor experience with the service itself and they are now promoting how their experience is. This is the final stage of the brand advocacy, and mostly when you're a promoter, you would envision for the customer to either rebuy again or become a brand advocate for your brand. For example, if it's Qantas, will be continuing to fly with Qantas, or at the same time actually sharing with their friends and family their experience here. This is the last stage of brand advocacy. Moving on with the customer flow itself, this is the 4: attraction, consideration, value delivery, and brand advocacy. With the customer flow, when you actually break it down, you again understand what a customer will go through all those phases and how you can actually design your organization, how it's been done, the services and whatnot, and the considerations you need to take in order to actually deliver a successful customer experience. What I'll go through briefly now is the ISEC customer flow and talk in particular what the IGT customer flow of ISEC is. It will go through the similar phases, and these are some of the different icons that you will see in different of our materials or education materials regarding the customer flow itself. So since you are an IGT member or perhaps an ISEC member looking into the customer flow here, you'll follow the same flow in terms of attraction, consideration, value delivery, and brand advocacy. The very first stage of attraction is this. So again, the definition of attraction is when the customer is a stranger or a visitor. So they may not know about it, or they've just heard about it, of what ISEC is about, and they are at this stage. What you'll be doing, or what IGT actually does at an attraction stage, is actually lead generation, lead connected, lead follow-ups, meetings, follow-up meetings, and follow-up calls. Lead generation is when we're researching and getting our name out there, researching the company, and also at the same time actually communicating with them, contacting them for the first time. And this is when they are perhaps a stranger when we first call them and talk to them about ISEC or try to connect with them. Lead connect is when they actually do reply to us and actually starting to talk and understand ISEC a bit more. They might even go and check out our website or check out what our proposal is about. Lead follow-ups, following them up in order to get the meeting. As we know in IGT, this is where the meaty part actually really happens. So the meeting is right now, they are still a visitor and a stranger because they definitely have not actually considered yet at this point. Follow-up meetings and follow-up calls, all these things from meetings onward is something pushing them towards actually the consideration phase. So in the attraction phase, what we can really think about is like how and what can we do, say, or actually present to the customer at attraction phase for them to actually move on to the consideration phase. One thing to keep in mind is most of the time and work will be actually contacting companies to get these meetings. This is again the everyday grind to get the results. Meeting is where sales actually really happen. So for sure, this is where the make it or break it in terms of getting our customers to move from attraction to consideration. We do not want to leave them at just attraction itself. The second one is consideration. Again, at this point is when the company actually is going to be talking to us and really considering us as an organization and the service that we want to provide. The contract signed, an opportunity opened on Expo itself, an opportunity promotion from ISEC to the global network, an EP being selected, so a candidate actually being selected, and an invoice being sent. At this point, the company has considered, has gone through the entire process. However, not yet a customer because we have not delivered any type of value to them as of yet. We only been able to provide the services that we can in consideration. Very much like Qantas, for as an example, in terms of consideration, they may call up, they may have a consultant to actually talk through the options and all the things that are in between, actually find a flight for them as an example. Similarly here, we're finding an opportunity and an EP for them, and at the very same time, actually going through a contractual agreement. For ICX and IGT, at the very least, contractual agreement up until this point, the customer still has not yet paid, because in terms of our contracts, the payment does not need to be made until the EP is selected and confirmed, of which we'll go to next afterwards. For here, this is actually one of the funnest part of IGT in itself, and I say because it's where you can become in the negotiation phase and really getting to get the customers to really consider and as to why they should really care and why they actually, this global talent program for them will make a huge difference for their organization and a difference in someone else's life. It's definitely very worth through the grind to get to this stage being in attraction. So that's why we're going to push our customers from attraction to consideration. Value delivery, this is the stage where it happens, where the customer actually comes something that we actually deliver value to. And in ICX and IGT case, when our customers are both the company and also the EP themselves. And how we do that is delivering through the standards. We have different standards of which we, in ISEC, we have created that allows us to be able to complete their experience, and this is where we deliver the value. Delivering the exchange itself and having the EP come over to Australia, actually deliver their work and go through a leadership change at the same time to actually have the account being delivered for the company. This is the value where this is the part where the delivery of the value is actually at, and this is where they are an actual customer. Here is seeing the opportunity you have open, changing someone's life. This is where the value delivery actually really happens. So I talked a little bit briefly before about the 16 standards for ISEC. This is a guideline of how we are able to ensure, for example, talking about before the customer flow, right? The customer flow helps us understand and break down what we can do to actually get a really good experience. Here is the 16 standards in value delivery of how we can move our customers from value delivery to brand advocacy and promoting in a positive way. So there are 16 standards here. Again, there will be a lot more material being sent through to understand at each point what we actually are doing. So what I'll move through next is that the standards are being completed in two different aspects. So for us, we do ICX, and I have explained briefly in a different video that there's also outgoing exchange. So outgoing exchange is from the sending entity. So for example, we have an exchange participant from Singapore, for example, in ISEC. They will be delivering these 4 standards here. They will be helping the exchange participant personal goal setting, an outgoing preparation seminar, a debrief with the home ISEC home, and also at the same time ensuring that they have insurance. And out of the 16 standards that are needed to be delivered within value delivery, these are the standards that the incoming exchange side actually delivers. So for us in Australia as the hosting entity, these are the things that we will actually deliver to create that value. Expectation setting with the exchange participant and as well as the company of what will be happening, incoming preparation when we receive the exchange participant in Australia, having those development spaces with the opportunity providers, actually talking to the company of like how we can actually have those development spaces with the EP so that we can actually get them to do the best work and provide the most impact to the company, help their EP with the visa and work permit, picking them up when they arrive in Australia, help them with their departure as well, ensure that they have a job description. So ensuring from the company side and their EP side that they both understand what the job description expectations are, understand what the duration of the time of their experience will be like, working with the company as well with the working hours, support the EP at first day of work, ensuring that they have accommodation and also at the same time basic living costs. These are the 16 standards that the incoming exchange side, ICX, would actually be delivering to deliver the value to both the company and the exchange participant. In addition to that, what the EP will actually be delivering and receiving in terms of their development are these 2 circles here that you might see more about. For a brief explanation, it's called the outer and inner journey. With the red side is the outer journey of what we can provide to the EP, and the company actually assists us in this. We collaborate together to create an opportunity for them to actually grow. So all these things here, those 4 aspects, is actually what they go through in the outer journey, being the actual journey itself. So they're delivering their individual responsibility and their goals that they need to be able to do at the company. They are challenged in their role and having a challenging environment, whether it be an international environment or at a professional working place where they're learning, growing, and working with other people. Interaction with multiple stakeholders, both being in ISEC and also the company itself, and having a support system like, for example, ISEC or their company or their manager to actually be able to go through the outer journey. What ISEC does within those monthly leadership opportunities, development spaces that we have, is to facilitate the inner journey of what the exchange participant will go through in terms of reflection. So they will set personal goals when they come to Australia and participate in a global talent opportunity. What are their goals? What do you actually really want to learn? Again, then reflect on your experiences. So every so often we do talk to them about how their experience is, what you're actually learning from the goals that you have. Third is understanding your personal values. From this extremely challenging experience, working with different people and putting yourself in a very uncomfortable and challenging environment, delivering these goals, how much more do you actually understand about your values? And the fourth bit is reinvent yourself. After understanding your goals, reflecting and seeing what you actually gone through, how to reinvent, and this actually is an infinity, so that it continues inner and outer journey, and the impact is in the middle itself. So this is what we provide to exchange participants, and this is what the companies can also see, that this is what we actually do to develop leadership. Here is where the companies actually play a role, where they provide a challenging experience and also are they interacting with the multiple stakeholders there. We talk a lot about developing leadership within these exchange participants. You may ask how. So in terms of providing that experience there, being the outer journey, and then being there to support their inner journey, what we want to develop in the day for them to understand is these 4 leadership qualities: self-aware, empowering others, world citizen, and solution-oriented. In terms of the monthly development spaces we have, is to provide a space to push them to really think, challenge themselves internally, and reflect on what they're going through in the physical outer journey challenges, to see what leadership qualities are they actually developing and actually using and working at the companies itself. For example, it could be in the sense that they are adapting and show resilience in the face of challenges and solution oriented, and we want them to develop these skills and understand how they're actually doing this through being challenged in their work itself. Or perhaps they explore one's passions by working in a company that they've discovered that they really like the skill, or there's something they're really passionate about in actually doing more when they actually finish their opportunity. These are the leadership qualities that we want to develop within our exchange participants, and the company helps us by providing that opportunity for us to do so. To wrap up in terms of the value delivery that we actually give to the exchange participant and also the company, it encompasses 3 things. For each exchange participants to have 16 standards actually executed, so that we know that these checkpoints will help us come closer to actually delivering a better experience. 2 is to give them an inner and outer journey so that it can happen the best way possible, so that they can actually reflect, understand, and have a very impactful and challenging experience. And through all of that, we want to actually develop these leadership skills through actually having those checkpoints ticked off, and at the same time having those challenging outer journey experiences and the challenging inner journey experiences for them to reflect, understand, and develop these leadership qualities. These is where the value delivery in terms of our organization and the products that we do delivers. So at the very end of the day, our core value proposition at value delivery is leadership development and application of their practical skills. So the value delivery that we give to the EP and the company. Moving on to the last stage is brand advocacy. What we really want to do in IGT with brand advocacy is to re-sign a contract. That the fact that the company had an EP work with them, a global talent individual, they liked it so much they actually want more. They want to support and create more opportunity because 1, they saw the impact they made, and 2, the EP was able to make a impactful contribution to their company. Offer to upscale, actually maybe have more than 1, have 2, 5, or have a longer term contract. Having B2B material, being testimonials, more information, more videos and stuff like that we can actually market to different companies, saying that this is a testimonial that one of our companies that we work with are really, really happy, and this is the reason as to why we are credible, or perhaps you should really consider. And also recontacting current partners as well. The role that we will be doing is recontacting current partners so that we can actually reopen opportunities. To recap everything, these are the 4 stages of customer flow, both whether it be non-ISEC or within ISEC. In particular, this is in the IGT, where attraction is we're actually going out there to actually find those companies, talk to them, and really like get our name out there so they understand what we're doing. So this is again the grind every day into the consideration where we're almost there and they're now considering, and now we're taking to the entire process and they're almost booking a flight, or perhaps they're almost picking an EP. The value delivery comes in where it's the most impactful and the most rewarding part is delivering the leadership exchange part, and also at the same time giving the company an opportunity to work with a global talent in terms of making impact for their organization and the work that they do. And brand advocacy is to repeat the entire process again and create more leadership exchange or more services. Overall, this is what a customer flow was. Process which takes into account of the entire customer experience from the first time they hear about us until they have completed their service with us. And again, you would have seen it broken down in two parts, where what we can, should do, and also the standards that we need to complete for each of the customer flow to actually make it successful to move on to the next. At the very end of the day, what ISEC is about, or in particular IGT, is not so much just selling something or like selling an opportunity for someone to come over or selling just talent, but it's an exchange of value for a purpose, of making an impact for the company, for Australia, for the exchange participants' life, and what they will do after they finish their opportunity.
It is exciting to realize that in a couple of hours you would be in a completely different part of the world with completely different set of people. New city, new culture. Sometimes it feels it's moving too fast. Feels like life is changing.
I would like to thank Kasha for all the good work she has done and wish her best of luck in her future experience.
In the interview, they asked,
"So tell me, why do you want to leave Poland and come here for an internship?"
I think coming to Mozambique is going to be a challenge, and I think the experience is going to help me be a better professional. And most importantly, a better human being, because I know I will be out of my comfort zone. And how it all started? With just one click.
So that was a video to recap about what a global talent experience is like. So for us in Australia, we are here to actually create these opportunities, these life-changing opportunities for youth to actually go overseas, internationally, challenge themselves, work, and also make an impact. So the objective of the session was about customer flow. The three: what is a customer flow? What is the ISEC customer flow? And then what part of IGT is part of that, and what your role may be like. Again, if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to message me, and this is my email address.